And here's your BP Ultimate reverse grid. Of course, that's the way we do it in race 3 here on 3. Nick Ross and Paul Manuel on the front row. Paul Manuel, all those troubles with his fuel delivery. Hopefully he's got it right. It could be his time to shine. Dave Stewart, David Hopper on the second row.
Now, a couple to watch out for here is going to be Adam Brooks and Dale Williams. We know Adam Brooks is quick. He's won in the wet before at Pukekohe. Keep an eye out for him.
Dale Williams, sponsored by Ray Glass, their boats. He could do well in the wet. John Whelan, Hayden McKenzie on the next row. McKenzie, another driver that likes it wet. Then John Penny coming back from the big crash in practice. And Bezzy in 10th.
Then you have John Hepburn, of course, Simon Richards. Simon is no stranger to the rain. A lot of confidence, coming off a couple of good races.
Angus Fogg and Darren Henderson as we get to the fast end of the grid, if that makes sense.
We do, and then we have Andrew Anderson, one of the rain masters, and of course Eddie Bow, coming off that high at Pukekohe, needs to keep accumulating those points.
Clark Proctor has been in all sorts of issues with the stewards, with his rubbing with with Angus Fogg. He's got to go. He's beside Kane Scott. Then Andy Booth and Tim Edgell on the 10th row.
We then have Andy Knight and of course Craig Baird. Craig knows how to drive these cars in the wet. Watch for him go around the outside of turn 1.
And John McIntyre all alone, and that's your grid. Safety car lights are out. We're getting set for a start here at Powerbuilt Tools Raceway. It's a very wet race. It's not just water on the track, but plenty of debris as well.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of stuff down there. A bit of rubber and maybe some dirt and stones from previous races, but this one is going to be very, very tough for these guys. Johnny McIntyre off the back. He's not going to get much of a clear view for some time, I don't reckon, and got the clear visor on rather than the tinted that he had earlier in today.
And that was Johnny Fogg on his visor there, so that just shows you what it's going to be like in these cars. I've got to say, Murph, I knew you were quick on the track, but you got out of that rain very, very quick just a moment ago.
I'm not used to standing out in the rain, you know, talking on the TV, usually in one of these cars, but this is going to be exciting. There's guys at the front of this field. There's Paul Manuel, Nick Ross, both very fast in the wet. Paul Manuel loves the wet. Obviously had a shocking day, so that's why he's where he is on the reverse grid. But this could be anybody's race. It's going green now. Manuel gets a good run.
And they are all over the track. Everyone, I guess, trying to see where they're going.
Vision into this first turn. The guy's back from one row and round the outside. Is that Williams? Yeah, he's gone right round the outside brake very late. And he's held it.
There we
Nick
go.
Ross, big crash.
John Whelan now. It's Adam Brook on as well. Now, do the rest of them get through unscathed?
Tank slapping everywhere.
Okay, part 1 executed. Now, of course, the hairpin is going to be the next critical point for these guys to get through, Greg.
Look at that vision. It is 0. Williams still leads. He had a fantastic start down into the hairpin for the first time. He is going off the road.
Yeah.
Nick Ross assumes the lead. Paul Manuel takes one spot back, so the front row is back at the front. Nick Ross leading from Manuel.
Okay, we just had word the safety car has been deployed, probably for that accident in turn 1. So right now, I dare say the race would be neutralised. Yeah, there's the yellow flags out.
Definitely the yellow flag. So these guys will be told by their teams, hopefully very soon, that they are under safety car conditions. Probably to clean up, as you say, that first turn incident.
Yeah, totally not unexpected, of course, the conditions, but, you know, it only takes 2 to tangle, doesn't it?
At least they made it through half of that.
Well, actually, no, it was the first corner. We're only seeing the other half of the lap.
Yeah, it actually looks like Williams is actually slotted back. He's fallen back. So did the safety car get called before he went off the road there? Not sure what's going on here. No, he stayed back there. I wasn't sure if he was going to actually move back towards the front. Here we go, turn 1.
Looks like Adam Brook just got it wrong, didn't he? And then just backed it into John Whelan, unfortunately, an innocent victim.
It's a real shame because we were expecting big things from Brooks in this race. Here we go again, another replay. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but pretty unfortunate to end up on the first lap where he is. But they'll get to rejoin if there's no damage to their cars. Obviously, rejoin at the back of the field and not lose too much time.
The safety car lights are off at Powerbuilt Tools Raceway. A tumultuous first lap, and we're getting set for another restart. And this is time these guys at the back haven't had to make their way through the field. So far, the likes of Johnny McIntyre is still way back in 21st as we restart.
Nick Ross and Paul Manuel fighting out down into turn 1. Look at that standing water. That is tough. Real hard work, hard concentration to
is that right
keep
down the
these
inside?
things.
Sorry, Greg, one of the white cars.
Williams
There
is...
goes
I think that
Williams.
was actually Angus. Angus coming too tight and just understeered straight into
And
it.
another one.
David
Who's that?
Bernard.
David Bernard off there in the background as well.
And keep in mind, though, the problem with the safety car guys is that they've had 2 laps within a lot of standing water would have presented itself in those times. Nick Ross being the first man, he's the pioneer in this. He's got to go out and find where the grip is. The other guys will follow him.
Well, so far he's doing a very good job, still maintaining that position at the lead of the field. Angus Fogg has come through there to third, so he's gained a couple of spots there from the restart. Here we go. Oh, he has come in way too deep there, Mark, and taken.
And this is Fogg, who's had so much trouble with collisions so far today. Very unhappy at Clark Proctor.
He was blaming everyone else for his bad luck in the areas, getting involved with that and knocking Dale Williams out of the way. That's really unfortunate. He was looking for a good result. Darren Henderson recovering from a spin. Replay.
We go.
Looks like he's been turned maybe by Edgell. We have to see a replay of that, but facing the wrong direction, those two cars losing a lot of time.
Unfortunately, just the circumstance racing in the run, but
and Angus Fogg looks to be slowing down here. He's slipping way back. Could he have caused some damage?
Yeah, his steering wheel is way out, so he's broken his steering. Did he just hit Andy Booth there as he was going past, potentially? But that steering wheel is a long way out of whack.
Just a bit of a, well, I'm out. I'll see what I can do on the way back.
So Nick Ross doing a great job up front. Paul Manuel pushing very hard to try and either get past him or force Nick into making a mistake as they fire down into turn one again this time.
Actually, it's not going to be it's going to be a very tall ask, I should say, for Paul Manuel to get past Nick Ross, because Nick knows how to be defensive and carry the momentum at the same time. We've just had word, poor old Angus Fogg has mechanical issues, also been given a drive-through penalty.
He might not be able to complete that drive-through
I think he
penalty.
might just stop, get out of the rain, and I suppose Nick Ross has got the huge advantage. He knows where he's going. He can see where he's going.
Absolutely. It's a massive advantage in these conditions. There's Craig Baird coming through. He's made fantastic progress up to maybe 11th now, I think. He just passed off. Oh, Andy Booth has just been run off the road. That is a big hit.
Andy.
There was a
goodness.
contact there with another car, and it's pushed him off the road onto that grass. Obviously extremely wet and slippery, and that's...
Well, here we go. He's being clipped. Is that by Hopper? And
sure.
He's off. Yes, that's Hopper, and he's gone at a great rate of knots.
It's gone in hard, isn't it?
That was never going to stop.
No.
Oh, that one hurt.
Whoa, okay, yeah,
He's
see
got
what
out of
happened?
shape.
Yeah, just got a bit out of shape. Unfortunately, Andy was just an innocent victim now. How does his car go in? Side on.
Oh.
Okay, red flag, guys. Race has been stopped.
We're getting set for a restart. A terrible crash for Andy Booth, stopping the race. They've just decided that the race will restart under the safety car, and here is why it was stopped.
Obviously,
no one
there
likes
was
to see this.
Not at all. It's a big impact into that earth tyre wall, which is... I mean, the car is in really good shape, Mark. As you said, you know, the roll cage has done its job. Absolutely fantastic, and he's able to walk away from that crash, get in the back of the ambulance. But a lot of damage to the car.
This is about as bad as racing gets, really, isn't it, right now? These guys, every one of them, has their work cut out as we get set for the restart here in the final race. And adding to the mix, if you've just joined us, this is the reverse grid race. So there's a lot of very quick drivers trying to make their way through the traffic. So basically all the ingredients are there for chaos on the circuit.
Now, the drivers have actually had this whole lap now behind the safety car for reconnaissance. They'll know where the standing water is. They'll know where the puddling is. The safety car should peel off now and racing will resume again.
It's been very difficult too in one lap to get any temperature into these tyres. Trying to gain, obviously track temperature will be very cold, trying to get that temperature into those tyres for one lap after they've been sitting on the grid there for all that time. Nick Ross comes round to lead them away on the restart. Paul Manuel right behind him. Hopefully we'll get a few laps here, nice and clean.
And look at that, just a massive cloud of spray behind Nick Ross. The only place you want to be is in front to see where you're going.
I tell you what, he's done a great job right from the beginning. He led the whole way, has kept this thing on the island. Big sideways this time though. Manuel will pounce up the inside to turn two. I spoke a little bit too soon there.
Commentator's curse, isn't it, eh?
Welcome to commentary, Merv.
No, this is not over yet though, Greg,
No, it's
of
not
course.
over.
It's got to run down the inside. The marbles are there, may play part of this, but who's going to win this duel? Nick Ross.
Paul Manuel's going to try and go right round the outside. They've touched. Is he going to get away with this? He's got an overlap. I think Paul Manuel's pulled this off.
He has.
The old
He's done an
karting ride has
amazing
paid
job.
off.
He'll give Nick Ross some room here, but he will be on the inside for turn four. Nick Ross still hanging in there. Paul's run him just a little bit wide. The mirror goes over the roof. and Paul Manuel takes the lead. That was a great piece of racing between those two.
The window wiper did its job, didn't it? Cleared the mirror out of the way.
Did its job. Paul Manuel loves these conditions too. He's very, very good in the wet, and you know, he will have now the clear track, which is a huge advantage. We'll see if he can pull away.
Now we see how much car speed Nick Ross has as well, because you know Paul has got through, but we'll see what challenge he replies back to him.
Now this is the view from Clark Proctor. He's been chased by Hayden McKenzie. Now you'll see he's obviously got here with this Proctor, is it? Yes, I think it is. Now you've got two guys here who just love the wet. These are great ones to watch. This is their happy hunting ground. This is just insanely difficult. Barely see where they're going, and the whole time they're racing, everyone's fighting for position.
Andrew Anderson has moved up to 4th position. That's a great drive by him in the ITM Commodore. He also, as you said before the start, enjoys these conditions, and so far showing a clean pair of heels there, passing quite a few cars.
Now, just behind this, there was actually a very big gaggle. There was 3 cars abreast there going into that one corner. We know only one car can get through there. It'll be interesting to see if they all got through cleanly or if there is mayhem.
Tiptoeing around the track here. Very, very slippery conditions. These guys doing a great job so far after the restart. No real issues to speak of. Look at that, just touching the throttle, absolutely just touching the throttle. And the rear wheels of these 450 horsepower cars just breaking traction so easily.
These guys just made me a complete lie when they said they're not going to use the curbs at all. They're using every inch of curb and the dirt at the stage.
I think they're using the concrete on the other side of the curb there, Mark, just to find that little bit of grip.
I think it's above the water level, so anything above the water level is going to help, isn't it?
Andy Knight there, Johnny McIntyre getting an overlap on him down the front straight. I think he may have just put himself in a position for an overtaking manoeuvre into turn 1.
Even if he hasn't, Greg, it might actually be one of those bluffing manoeuvres we see just to get a bit of clear visibility driving into turn 1 there.
There you go.
Seated the place.
He's still held a tighter line, but Andy Knight's managed to hold him out. He's running a little bit wide. Craig Baird there, Knight around the outside on the grass using more than the track is there. McIntyre has the overlap into turn 2, but he has backed out of it. Better part of Valor on that manoeuvre.
Yeah, correct. There's still plenty of racing to be had and still plenty of miles as well to go with it. So,
Johnny Mac.
That's what I mean. The second you hit those curves, these things just bite.
Up front, Paul Manuel's doubled his lead. He's a 2.5 seconds clear of Ross now. He's done that in the lap, and Adam Brooks takes
That's Adam Brooks actually coming back after his off at the beginning of the race. He's having a look there at Johnny. He's coming back through the field. Obviously that safety car and then the red flags allowed him to reform right at the back of the grid. And he's making some progress back through. Obviously a bit disappointed about his first lap altercation.
Keep in mind that this is Adam's first race of the championship, and he has nothing to lose. He's not really in for championship points.
Yep.
He's in there to you know, invest in the sponsors and everything. So he doesn't care about Johnny McIntyre.
And it makes it really hard for Johnny, doesn't he?
Certainly
He's got to make
does.
that decision.
Guys, 3rd place, John Penny. Of course, coming back from that absolute disaster on Saturday where the thing was essentially wrecked. The guys worked around the clock, got the thing here, got it qualified, got it in the race. Fantastic. If he just keep going as well, and the wet probably will favour that because there's not so much car speed, probably will come back into John's driving style.
The problem he's got is he's got a flying Proctor coming up behind him, lapping at the moment a second faster. So he's going to be all in the back windscreen of John Penny's car very, very soon. Not that he'll be able to see out the back and know that he's there to start with, but regardless of that, there could be a race going on there for 3rd very, very soon.
Looking a bit further afield too, Eddie Bount in 8th, but then Craig Beard is actually back in 9th, but he is 2 seconds a lap quicker than that gaggle in front of him. So, you know, there's a lot of fast cars in the middle of the pack, which are going to make significant inroads to the cars in front.
And as the guys are getting into the groove, getting some more temperature in these tyres and maybe just getting a line with a little bit less water, as Proctor does go around the outside, I think a Penny there.
I think John would have been smart enough to realise that Clark has the car speed. There's absolutely no point defending it because Clark is going to come through. It's just a matter of time and a matter of when.
He's done a great job to find his way up in 3rd place, very clean.
Eddie Bell there just tempting fate on the curves at Clark Proctor. He's had a tough day with the stewards. He's kind of escaped any trouble there. I've got to say, though, they often get a hard time, but...
Whoa, that's someone off in the background at high speed. That's David Stewart. Oh, no, I dare say that's not going to come around.
No, that has had an impact for sure, hasn't it, mate? So we'll look and see.
He went off at a huge speed.
Here we go, in the background, look at the background.
There he goes.
He left at a very high speed. Now, what has that car gone into? Not quite sure. Paul Manuel out front. I'm thinking that there will be at least a safety car here with that, potentially.
It's hard to fathom that it actually didn't hit anything. Here we go.
Did he slow it down?
Oh, God.
Pretty light.
He did.
He's
Well, didn't he?
just a bit of a kiss, wasn't it, gentlemen?
Well, that's good. He might be able to get it back, get that thing back on the track again and get moving with a bit of luck. That looked like it was going to be a lot worse than what it turned out to be. So that's fantastic.
I mean, that's just plain luck. He's a passenger once he hits that grass, and he'll be counting his blessings after that.
Hayden McKenzie has just got past Andrew Anderson to take 5th position, so he is on a charge and enjoying these conditions.
I was quite surprised when he said that. I want it to rain more because there was so much trouble being had yesterday. We mentioned John Penny, who ended up on his side, and a lot of work done to get that car right. But back to Clark Proctor, he's loves the rain completely. He's fresh from the Targa Rally where he was going sideways a lot there, so he's got no worries. If there's the less grip, the best, and obviously he comes from a speedway background, so
Bit of someone's side sill there lying on the track. Hopefully won't play a part. A little bit offline, and we can see it's just that water that has been pumped off that part of the circuit, so there is a bit of a line there. It doesn't look like much at the moment, but less water standing there on the circuit is going to make these cars just that little bit easier to drive.
On board now with Johnny McIntyre, and you can see just how hard it is on the race.
Interesting here, of course, a couple of laps ago, Craig Beard was actually ahead of Andy Knight, and Craig was catching Eddie Bell hand over fist, but that's somewhere on the last 2 laps has been re-corrected again. And Andy Knight is actually starting to pull away, maybe because Craig's trying to be defensive against Johnny McIntyre. Keep an eye on these 2 guys are actually battling for the honours for the round for the weekend.
Is that Adam Brooks again?
Yes, it is. Adam off again, unfortunately.
Down at turn 1, so let's hope that has also ended well for him.
Okay, guys, safety car out. Yellow flag being deployed.
We're at Powerbolt Tools Raceway, and what a race it's been so far. If you can call it a race, more like a game of chance.
Yeah, unbelievable. The conditions obviously dictating this last race. We've had a safety car, a red flag, another safety car, and Paul Manuel is leading them down the front straight to have the 3rd restart. And he has been showing a clean pair of heels in the last half dozen laps once he got past Nick Ross after that red flag incident. And his times are very impressive.
Well, if anyone can smile, it's the Holden fans. This is the first time we've had a Holden leading a race. In this is the 6th race of the season, so something for them to smile about. But he's had a tough time, all sorts of problems mechanically with the car, so he's doing well, and he's got a clear view in front, unlike Clark Proctor aboard at the Toyota Falcon. And it's just insane. I don't know how they can see where they're going.
Well, Clark Proctor has been very quick also, so this safety car has definitely given him an opportunity and given him a sniff on the back of Nick Ross to get onto that into that 2nd position. But it's closed up the field. We expect we're going to see a few more position changes before the end of the race. Oh, that was a big loss of time there,
somewhere
Johnny
around
Mac.
there, I dare say there's a car to the outside of this.
I think you're probably right, Mark. Who is it? Be David Bernard, would it?
Got a hit. No, he's going to make it.
Andrew Anderson.
Oh, that's... No, now Wooly. No, he's lost it.
Yeah,
now there'll be another... Will the freight train come through, Greg?
No, he's managed to get back on in there. Thankfully, after Johnny Mack had lost that momentum out of the hairpin, he's managed to slip back in there, but that's cost Andrew Anderson 3 or 4 spots. Very disappointing for him.
Now, the other thing, too, to keep in mind is that because the safety car regrouped, but what happens is that in that time, what tyre pressure would have built up and the tyre temperature would have dropped right off as well. So, of course, they're essentially starting from scratch, trying to build that temperature back up in the tyres, the brakes, the suspension and everything. And as well, more importantly, in themselves to get that rhythm going again.
Yes. So what you're saying is the safety cars not only closed up the field and made it tougher, but the cars aren't ready to race again, so the race is just getting harder and harder.
It is, yeah. It sometimes can take 2 or 3 laps for the temperature to come back up where the drivers have the confidence in the cars to charge hard.
And no improvement in the conditions. Everywhere we look is a tough race. We talked about Craig Baird struggling to make up more space. He's the second fastest on the track. The man in front of him, Andy Knight, is the fastest so far. So I think you're right with that one. But everywhere we look, there is a battle, and Andrew Anderson holding off the challenge there from Johnny Mack. And as he looks down the inside just so he can see, I suppose, where the corner is.
Well, Andrew Anderson got a bit of a gap on Johnny Mack that time round, who's gone very deep, closed up probably 5 or 6 car lengths. Kane Scott sliding out of turn 1, looking for a little bit more grip from those Dunlop control wet tyres.
Interesting there, Johnny Mack braking so late for that turn,
Johnny
because
Mack.
that's where he aquaplaned right off during practice, at the start of practice. So it clearly hasn't shaken him at all. He knows exactly what he can get up to.
He knows how much grip there was, because he learned the hard way early on Saturday morning, didn't he?
Still struggling to make any more ground here.
It's interesting, Greg, how the Holden has strengths on one part of the circuit. We mentioned this with Johnny McIntyre and Craig Baird. You'll see Johnny McIntyre swamp the back of that car into brakes, but of course, because Andrew Anderson applies the throttle first, he dictates when the cars go, and that's why the car will always seem to pull away initially out of the corner.
The Oryx Commodore looking absolutely fantastic out there. Paul Manuel driving it superbly and enjoying himself. He'll have a huge smile on his face at the end of this race. Has about a 6-second advantage over John Penny, who is also doing a fantastic job there. Andy Knight closing in on the back of Hayden McKenzie. He's only got a lap and a half left to make an improvement, and I'm sure he will put in every effort to try and do that. So Paul Manuel's got 1 lap to go. He's on the last lap and carries a 7-second advantage now. So he's home and hose. As long as he just keeps the thing on the track, he'll have his first race win of the season.
Yes, and we've got Mark Hart at work. You may not know him, but he's like a kind of Stephen Hawkins. Obviously not quite as quick, but he's pretty good with the maths. And is Craig Baird in the current position going to take the round?
No, he's not. He's 3 points shy as it currently stands to take the round win. Of course, there's a lot of racing to go. Here we go. There's the battle going down, unfolding here. Now, he's just having a look down the inside there. I think it's just a bit of a dummy, isn't it, Greg?
Could be a bit of a touch, just a tiny one. Just unable to find a way past that ITM Commodore. It's doing a very, very good job.
I hope these guys have good race radios in their cars, because I don't know if they're going to even see the checkered flag as they cross the line. This has been unbelievable. The track absolutely drenched. There's been no let up through the race. Look at that. It is just sodden. These guys have earned every cent.
Here he comes.
Just because he can,
just because he can. He knows. I think he knows it's the last lap. His team's definitely told him. Paul Manuel coming around the last corner in the Oryx Commodore. He's loving every minute. He'll have a big slide on. Look at this. Here we go. Put it on the... Oh, no! No, he's done a 360. He's done a 360, 7-second lead, and he will still win the race. He's a showman.
Paul Manuel.
God, we're going to love that. That is fantastic.
Paul Manuel, you get 10 out of 10 and you win the race. Fantastic stuff ahead of John Penny and Hayden McKenzie. What a way to wrap up the race.
I've never seen this before in my life. That is fantastic. I don't think he meant that though, Mark.
What do you reckon his pucker was doing going around that corner?
I think he meant the first bit, the second bit, the third bit. No, not at all, but there we go. What a race. It was tumultuous. The track was sodden, and Paul Manuel, what a finish, holding off John Petty. Hayden McKenzie said he liked the wet, and he showed he does. Andy Knight in fourth. My goodness, I'm spinning from that spin from Paul Manuel. John McIntyre in ninth takes out the round, and Kane Scott in 10th. What a race.